Mr. Chairman?
No, wait, we're trying to.
Okay. Yeah, because we have it.
So, for the purpose of LPRA, I will advise that the honorable party stay here then, because what we have programmed for them in this year's budget are highly contingent in terms of the ability or the option of having them realized this year, because they were needed to the Toronto and total for 2025, or as it is, we just began discussion on those two contracts. And because the payment of those fees are based on their post-ratification payment. So we will stay here then, because it's possible that we can get it this year. It's also possible that we can get it next year, based on how quickly the legislature acts. But we will urge, of course, for the legislature to act within the scope of this fiscal year. You know that we have been hearing at both sides of the chambers. So, yeah, so
Mr. Chairman, the head for LPR is not in the cabinet at all. According to the controller, she's pressed with other matters.
Yes.
So what?
I'm saying to you that she's appearing. What's it? It's not no. I think that one. I think that. No, I think that.
Yeah, but if you have said it,
we are now where we are because we are.
So we put you on an oath, and it is confirmed that she in the lower house. Okay, so what your final decision? Can we hear them? Let's hear them. Yeah. Because we are loaded, we're dealing with time. There are certain things, they will come back when we have issue. What a concern, just with Senator Topo.
There is my concern that the hair should be here. The reason is they had gotten in trouble in 2024. Yeah, and he can't answer the question that we have. Yeah, so okay, so let the hair come, please. To do so. So the free money.
Okay, so with that said, we'll reschedule a hearing for tomorrow. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Let the head be here tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Yeah, definitely. The lawyer will add that one there. Okay, so with that said, we'll take the presentation from NAFA. But before that, to the LRA and Ministry of Finance, what the projection for NAFA? It's in 500,000. And they were assessed at $2 million. So we want them to, and as at the 31st, only 208,000 have contributed. So, Mr. Director General, can you tell why and what the law says? Huh? Yeah, okay, yeah. LRA coming. Yeah, please, I can leave here. Yeah, that's one thing we have to add. Because from the budget, whether the SO is. Okay. So, LBO, please take note when LTA coming, they should come with their budget. Based on their budget, okay. Yeah, who said that? With the contract, they still coming. And for your information, we have the service contract for 3 institutions: transport, LRS, and labor.
So we'll have it distributed before we leave. Yeah, we'll
We already sent a letter to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
We already sent a letter to METAC and CTN to you.
Okay, methods and CTM. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and confirm.
Yeah, okay. When it comes to NAFA, they was assessed as 2 million. They are paid zero. 2025.
But I see 208.
You see that maybe it's not maybe it's order or withholding.
It's all over withholding.
Yeah. It's other
Okay.
taxes. They are paid zero.
Zero. And what the law says about NAFA,
Capital zero.
what the statute says. That's what I want to hear from you. Okay, so as a Director General, can you tell why you haven't paid a dime?
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members. When we took over NAFA, we saw the $2 million, and I was wondering on what basis that was done, irrespective of the law. But the realities we met was that NAFA performance as at 2025 stands at $1.4 million in terms of actual revenue generated against targeted revenue of $2.3 million. We also inherited a total liability of $3.1 million owed to government institutions and other vendors. So against that background, I began to wonder on what basis the NAFA will be able to pay government contribution of $2 million, at the same time paying a debt of $3.1 million with only a revenue of $1.4 million to date. And those were some of the discussions we began to have with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning and other stakeholders. So that's one of the reasons why to date we have not paid a dime towards the $2 million. What we did when we took over, we did a recast of our budget. And what the board approved was around $200,000 to make as direct revenue budgetary support to government. Against that backdrop, comparing 2024 to 2025, withholding was around $60,511. To date, in 2025, we are around $208,000, which of course is even more, meaning that we are now beginning to remit withholding taxes to the government in the most appropriate way. So that's the reason why we have not paid towards the $2 million.
Okay, so there are two different things. The withholding is different from your direct contribution from the revenue generated.
Yeah.
So you prioritize other institutions that NAFA owes as compared to contributing to the consolidated account.
No,
or to what the law says.
In fact, we have not prioritized other institutions. We needed to do an audit verification of the debts. Because while it is true that we incurred $3.1 million, so we transferred the debt to the GSA to do an audit verification.
So you didn't,
which is ongoing.
You didn't pay on any of the 3.3 million plus and the 2 million assessment of the government.
No, because the reality is that I've made a bank balance of $350,000. And with a total staff capacity of 203 that had a monthly salary of around $167,000. So that's the plate we met.
Did you bring your budget? Do you have a budget? Because what you gave me is your presentation. Do you have a budget here?
We have the 2026.
Yeah, the projected budget for your institution.
Yeah,
Here?
I'll send that.
Can we get a copy?
Yeah, I'll send you that.
Okay, so we'll get that later. Yeah. So go ahead.
So okay,
He's not on the oath? What is Sergeant? Yeah, do that now. You can't be forgetting or forget, then you have to. Yeah, because we have to be what we're saying here.
Yeah. Raise your right hand. If I say you call your portfolio and repeat after me. Do hereby swear that the testimony I'm about to give into my recollections is the truth
nothing but the truth. So help you God. Okay, so you can conclude. If you have, you can conclude, and we'll take questions from the. Oh, okay.
So, Honorable Chair, may I proceed in this order? 2025 Revenue Performance Report against GOL contribution, and then projection for revenue for 2026 and GOL contribution. As we stand at third quarter, our revenue performance is around 43.4%. That tells us that against a core revenue projection of $3.2 million, against a core revenue budget of $3.2 million, we have realized $1.4 million. That gives us around 75% deficit in terms of our revenue. Areas that are not performing include access fees. Access fees stands for international tuna vessels that come in Liberian waters and access license. We had 37 tuna vessels between 2023 and 2024. To date, that has declined drastically because of practices that happened from past management. The enabling environment was not conducive for them, and so they had to pull out, which of course is affecting the revenue. We also, in terms of license fees, at least we are performing. On Monday, the president announced the reduction in artisanal fishermen fees because a lot of them were not paying. They indicated that the fees were very high, and so they need a reduction in the fees. The president did the needful and announced the reduction in the fees. Fines is performing, and I'm excited to announce that there are companies in Liberia that once they think they have acquired IPD for the Ministry of Commerce, meaning they can import fish in Liberia at will. And so we began fining fee of those companies for importing fish without permit. And so that's one of our major areas of collection we are now having. If we look at the total cash flow to date, we are anticipating that in the next year, that is for 2026, there will be a lot of improvements because based on certain regulations we've introducing, we're going to see an increase in access fees. We've now introduced the stream vessel, and so we have one stream vessel coming in next year. We also introducing the crab vessel, so one will be coming in next year. We also introducing what we call some reduction in the overall percentage for tuna vessel, which of course were driving a lot of the folks away. Honorable Chair and honorable members of this committee, we are projecting $500,000 in 2026 as our contribution to government revenue. And the reason is that we're looking at the present cash flow. For too long, we've been dependent on fees coming from industrial vessels, and which of course we cannot continue to depend on because there are instances where in those industrial vessels may decide not to flag on Liberian waters. Owing to the fact that Liberia is still under the European Union yellow card, which of course is also driving these vessels away. Because if we cannot tackle it in removing the yellow card, definitely we stand a greater risk of attracting these vessels. And so there are a lot of diversification we are now introducing, and which of course I mentioned on the crab and shrimp vessel. The next thing we are doing is to alleviate the infrastructure gap. We have a lot of poor infrastructure in the fishery sector. And as we stand, a lot of our present harvest local production in terms of harvest is around 53,000 metric tons of fish every year. Out of that 53,000 metric tons of fish, 17,000 is offloaded in Senegal and in Cote d'Ivoire. The reason is that Liberia does not have a dedicated fishing port to be able to offload those harvests here. And so together with our partners, we've completed a shovel-ready design for an industrial fishing port that costs around $26 million. We need to now source that funding to be able to build the industrial port. If that port is built, definitely we're talking about between 2,000 to 2,500 new jobs. And also in terms of our regular revenue, we will be now earning revenue from export. Through our partners also, we're doing the feasibility study for a fish processing factory in Grand Bassa for value addition. What we do here is that most often all of our catch from our artisanal vessels are very, very limited to be able to supply our local market and also add value. And so that processing factory will also attract private capital to our waters. Honorable Chair, we also have been putting a lot of emphasis on marine fisheries instead of aquaculture and inland fisheries. And so we're going to now industrialize aquaculture. So we secured the first 30 acres of land in San Nicola, Nimba County to construct the first integrated industrial aquaculture optical farm. That farm will be able to produce at least between 2,000 to 2,300 metric tons per year. And if that happens, definitely we should attracting a lot of jobs along the value chain. Our priority areas for 2026, in which we very, very strongly hope that once we can get these right, we're going to increase our revenue in terms of diversification to be able to do our best in meeting our own commitment to government. Some of the areas we're looking at now, we're going to be hosting a National Fisheries Investment Conference in March 2026 to be able to showcase our comparative advantage as a country. We're now reawakening some policies in terms of our fishing policy, our fisheries policy, to also attract our international partners. We're working with the European Union to remove the yellow card, and that's the reason why through the European Union, we now have a consultant recruited to work with Liberia to remove the yellow card. When that yellow card is removed, we are talking about attracting additional 13 to 15 European vessels in the Liberian waters. And also, our export will be qualified to go to European markets. The sticker issue is between transshipment programs. The European Union is saying that NAFA should control transshipment program. The transshipment program is presently with maritime. And so that is the sticker issue. We either control it or we have access to it. And so until we can address that, definitely we're going to crawl along on the yellow card. But these are discussions we are having with maritime and other institutions. We also started a reconstruction of the clay hatchery in Bome County. That would be a one-stop shop to be able to distribute inputs on aquaculture production in the country. That hatchery, once completed, will be an area to be able to do a lot of work with fish farmers across the country. Quality assurance has also been our issues for export. We're working with our partners through the Liberia Standard Authority to build the first fisheries competent laboratory. So a feasibility study going to start in January for that purpose. Honorable lawmakers, capacity is not really an issue at NAFA. Definitely capacity is strong. But we need to now convert capacity into outcomes. And so one of the areas we're looking at, considering that we're now talking about fishing port, we want to now explore in getting Liberians out there to do marine engineering. So we're working with some of our embassies to get Liberians out there to showcase marine engineering. The fishing community, our Liberians are giving us trouble around the coastal communities. A lot of them believe that they should not be paying fees. And in so doing, we are begging the indulgence of you, honorable lawmakers, to engage. Now that the reduction of fees has taken place by His Excellency announced, we are appealing to you, honorable lawmakers, to be able to talk to our fishing communities. The Fantis are very compliant as compared to the Liberians. West Point is a headache. 90% of people in West Point have refused to pay. Newtown is also troublesome. We're talking at Maryland County, Green Crew County, and other areas. Consultations have begun with them now that the fees have been reduced. One of the things that were also affecting our fishing community were mackerel vessels. We have people coming from Cote d'Ivoire, come in our waters and fishing and go back. So it was kind of really, really affecting our fisher folks. What we've done, we've increased the fees for mackerel vessels to discourage them from coming in Liberia. We're still looking out to see how well we can work with our fishing community to build landing sites so that the canoes can dock. Because erosion is affecting them. And so 2 landing sites will be constructed beginning next year in Green Crew and in Maryland County. We're also working with the UNDP to do one in Sando County. So these are prospects in which once we can handle a lot of these infrastructure gaps, definitely we're going to push our revenue diversification. We're going to be able to reach out there. And let me also indicate that we are opening the first regional office in Harper, Maryland County next year to be able to combat illegal fishing. A lot of the fish importers, as I indicated, we are fining them for not getting permits on imports. And we are very serious about that. Let me also indicate that concession companies are bringing in containers of fish without import permits. And this is something that we need to tackle, that they need to buy locally and stop importation for their staff at those concessions. And these are areas that we are losing huge revenue. Another part is that we want to beg your indulgence. There are people carrying fish in suitcases, dry fish in suitcases from Liberia. Most of them have refused to pay export fees. When they get at the airport, they will blast at our people, they will fight them, and they will refuse to pay. We are losing revenue in that. The post and telecommunication, we are also losing revenue because a lot of people using post and telecom to export fish. We've discussed with our colleagues at Post and Telecom that we do not need the money, just how much is being generated from that, so that we can quantify it and be able to form part of our overall. So these are interagency collaborations that we want to strengthen so that at least we'll be able to cover a lot of the loopholes. We are going digital now in all of our activities. I know there are going to be complications for the artisanals, but for all of our importers and our industrial vessels, now you can sit in the comfort of your office. Licenses and permits you used to get in 3 months is now in 24 hours. And so we've minimized the turnaround time for people to get permits. And I think we're going to be attracting a lot of them at Summit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll now go to the questions and answers.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Okay, you can go ahead.
Very short.
Thank you so much. So we have a 24/7 fisheries monitoring center here at the Mensorado Pier. What we also did, we kind of beef up and strengthen our monitoring capacity by introducing a technology called the Quartermaster. Now I can sit at my house and monitor the ocean from my phone. So we've introduced that now. We're also working with a company called the Blue Hammer Technology to introduce artificial intelligence for vessels that switch off the vessel monitoring center. There are a lot of them that switch it off deliberately. And so when we introduce the Blue Hammer technology, whether you switch off or not, we'll be able to track you. And once we track you for switching on your AIF, the law says, we'll fine you $1.5 million. And we're very, very intentional about that. We'll be introducing drones as well. And so that's the reason why with the Coast Guys, we want to see how we can allocate some funding for the Coast Guys to be on the right goal. So once we grab a vessel, definitely they can move in. The yellow card we are experiencing today, a vessel called the Winning Vessel was arrested in 2017. $1.5 million was charged on that vessel. How that vessel disappeared from the Liberian waters, only God knows. And that's the reason why the EU said that we were compromised. And so they levied a yellow card on Liberia.
Mr. Chairman? Yeah, I mean, I'll be very brief. What is your projected contribution to the 2026 budget? Are we together? Chairman of the caucus. Yeah.
And my nephew too.
Mr. Chairman, I mean,
Nephew, you next,
I
man.
want us to be together. I'm asking the IT director his projected contribution to the 2026 budget. What is it based on? How is it derived?
So the $500,000 is actually derived based on our present realities and the projection of vessels that we are projected for 2026 in terms of core revenue. Yeah. I agree. The law says that, but the reality is that NAFA will shut down. And I'm coming, Honorable Senator. It's true that the law. Yeah. The law says 40%. 40 to 50% of that revenue. Sure.
So you tell this committee that because of some person you are asking us to set it aside.
So, Honorable Senator, the reality is that I inherited a workforce, Liberians, 203, with a monthly or yearly disbursement or expenditure for salaries around 2.04 million for 203 staff, with a revenue of 3.2 and expenditure to salaries of 2.04. It's just not practical for us to pay $2 million.
We'll get that budget. Definitely.
Yeah.
Last one has to do, you want us to talk I'm from a county that has a fishing community.
Sure.
Harper, you want us to talk to them. But what is your support to these communities?
So
West Point, Nuclear Town. What is NAFA doing for our people? People can go to them to pay taxes.
There are a few things NAFA is now introducing. One of it is early warning system. A lot of our fishermen go on the sea, even when the tide is high, they don't know. We are now introducing early warning systems to tell them you cannot go on the ocean today, it's high. The next thing we're providing is what we call the automatic information system, AIS. That information system helps them that when they go on sea and there's stress on them, they are able to press the button on that to alert our fisheries monitoring center, and we can quickly send in the coast guys. We also just introduced some grant programs through the World Bank to be able to scale them up, their activities. Monday, we also disclosed 23 climate smart artisanal vessel made out of solar energy. All of those will go towards the fishing. But here is the point, Honorable Senator. The Liberians are refusing to pay. And if they cannot pay, we cannot in return as NAFA give them the services they need.
What are the taxes you pay to NAFA?
It's just annual license fees.
Such as
Example, Petting cleaner used to pay $50 every year. The president has reduced it to $30 every year.
Okay.
Those from 1 horsepower to 14 horsepower used to pay $250 every year. We've reduced it to $175 now annually. Those from 16 horsepower to 40 horsepower used to pay $450 every year. We've reduced it to $375. And the reason why we did that, because of the consultations we have with the fishing communities, and they were raising these alarms, so we had to listen. With this reduction, we want to appeal to you, all of you, to see how or not they can come forth. Because if they don't pay these fees, we are unable to provide the needed services to them. And these problems are coming from the Liberians. As I said, I will keep emphasizing the Liberian fishermen. That's the problem. But for the frontier, they are very much compliant. But the Liberian fishermen are our trouble.
Thank you. So we'll now take the senior senator of Lofa County. Yeah.
Let me just start with when you came in, you met all these obligations. You chose the one you wanted to adjust, and then leave the one that you were not interested in. By virtue of the fact that you met your goal, you took out the obligation, and they adjusted your budget. Am I correct? You made a goal to adjust the budget. Am I correct?
Did a recast, yeah. Yeah, we did a recast.
Okay. We don't have water to
Yeah,
Yeah, you did a recast, but there was a standing obligation for the budget contribution. Did you talk to anybody about that as to why you would not be able to pay?
Definitely. We spoke with the board. We spoke with the board. And we told the board.
Your board now collecting budget from you.
We spoke with the board. We also spoke with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning.
So you accepted their plea?
Obviously, the Ministry of Finance want as much as we can from everybody. But we also have to be realistic. If we review the financials of the institution and we see that there's no way except we squeeze water out of rack that they can pay, rather than putting in a figure that we cannot. Yes, it did. But I just want to get some background.
Take your revenue to that country and have a share on it.
No.
What the reason I'm asking this question is that the fish that they take from our water is our fish. It's for us. So if they go and then they charge it in another vessel, there has to be an international law for that. I have to chase it.
So it's just like
So
me.
then you stop them from fishing our water altogether.
Then how do we raise the revenue we need?
How are you gonna raise the registration fees?
Yeah, the license fee is
How
what
much
happened
is
us
the
now.
registration fees?
At least we're talking about if a tuna vessel registered, we're talking about around at least 100,000.
100,000
Yeah.
is what we're going to settle for our natural.
Well, something better than nothing, and Senator. Then how will we survive?
No,
How the
that
institution
decision-
will survive?
That decision has to be collected.
The reality is that, Honorable Senator, we need to be intentional if we want to eradicate that. And that's what I said. We've done a shovel-ready design for an industrial port. Senator, we need $26 million to build that port. If we can raise that money, Honorable Senator, if we can raise that money, if the legislature can allocate that money for us, and not wait for bilateral commitments, because the bilateral are going to take some time. We're looking at, we're personally looking at commitments now coming from the World Bank and others, but it's going to take some time. So in the immediate term, we have to now let go of that while we're taking the peanuts until we can build the port.
Yes, on this issue, it was similar question, Senator. We raised that with the NAFA during the revenue hearing, because this concept about building a fishing port, a dedicated fishing port at Mosorado, I think sometime was also River's, has been on the card for years, and it's been funded through the World Bank from one project or round of funding to another. So our recommendation to NAFA at the time was, can we have a recommendation or a suggestion from you that, for example, the existing ports that we have, that we can work together on the side of government and provide dedicated spot. The port can be repurposed so that we have specific areas dedicated for discharging fish. And this is a suggestion which I'm happy that he brought to this forum, that we can take at a national level as part of our public investment strategy. Otherwise, subject to external funding conditions and procurement requirements, maybe it will be during the next legislation that you may be considering maybe the 56th legislation that may consider the building of the ports.
Yes, Senator Smith, Senator Cunning, Senator Smith, Senator Cunning, Senator Tupu. Then we'll conclude, then we have Minister of Justice and the FDA coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
So the Minister of Justice is here.
FDA around here. They were scheduled yesterday. Yeah. So we left 5 minutes for
Yes,
only 5 minutes.
NAFA, overheard you saying that when you were speaking or answering question of how you monitor the sea. Did you call the name of a company?
Yeah.
What's the name of the company?
The quartermaster.
How they got in?
So the quartermaster
It's
is
a contract, an MOU, or what?
oh no, it's a grant. The quartermaster provided us with an opportunity to work with Liberia in monitoring and reducing IUU.
And so we paid them.
So the quartermaster is providing that service to NAFA. It's
Free.
for 4 years. Yeah, for 4 years.
Free.
Free.
Oh.
They are providing that service for 4 years, and all of the vessels have Starlink internet now on them.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are giving us 4 years leverage. Within the next 4 years, we now try to think how we can sustain it.
Okay. Yeah, Chair.
Okay, so Senator Cunning from there, Senator Tupu.
Yeah, NAFA.
Honorable Senator.
I'm from the business fee. you said the business people always fight with the officers that are down there from NAFA. My question is, do we have securities at the airport and at the post offices?
Yes, we have a personnel at the airport responsible to track all exported fish.
Now I'm talking about police or securities that can take charge in issues like this. Because you said the business people can fight with your people.
We only have our quality assurance officer at the airport, and that is something we're working closely with the port authority to be able to intervene whenever we have those kinds of situations. The latest one happened last week, and that person came from one of the big offices and refused to pay, and so they had to leave with the carton, the suitcase of fish. I'm just giving a scenario.
And I listen to you. You say you are going to introduce loan, but unable to contribute to the budget. How are you going to do that?
Sorry, introduce me.
Loan. No, he said loan. But he said it. He said loan.
No, we said grant. We said personally there are grants being given to our fish sellers.
You said you will introduce loan.
No, it's grant.
I don't say grant. I said loan. Okay, no problem, boy. You heard it? Okay. So what is the fixed price for the fish issue? Issues at the airport and post offices. The fixed price I want to know.
It's just $10 US.
$10.
Yeah.
Because even myself, I pay when I was traveling.
Thank you so much.
So I think take that into consideration that the people don't fight for $10, especially business people. That's false and misleading.
Yeah, I don't think you should probably down fees because some people.
No, the Honorable Senator, I've said it, but we got lots of cases on people who just, bypass our system. So, Honorable Senator, let me thank you for honoring that, but there are a lot of others who refuse to do that.
So, I don't think you people make that fee public at the airport so people can see because some people pay more than $10. I have to get a confusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So I would just say, Mr. Acting, Sarah, I will say to you clearly. First, the Minister of Finance does not have the authority to determine, to even agree with you in terms of what to pay. The Minister can negotiate equal duty if they want to, in the marine law. But now what the law says, the act that created NAFA. He said in the first 5 years, 40% of the revenue, in the second 5 years going forward, is 50% of the revenue. So all what you will explain here, it is only this legislature that can make that in the budget law to say, yes, we agree that we should pay that. It is not that he's saying to us, oh, I will base on materiality. No. It's not going to work. It is this legislature that will make a decision. So based on your financial and conversation with the committee member, then we have to make the adjustment. We did it in 2019, unfortunately, just for 1 year, and that's why NAFA stood up. As though I was going to never pay with you. I don't let you know, they never pay. So, seeing your financial, I'm talking about your presentation about construction and this and that. When we see using that, just for the stable welfare, we are in the 54th. When we see using that, they came to us and we accepted when it says that. So, all of the new idea, I just think that we should, document it properly and give it to the committee or the chair, and then we look at that because the minister will not tell us, to hear NAFA see on the public record that we will projecting to give 500,000. That's a violation of the law. In fact, we charge you to openly say that you want to violate the law. will be charging you. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay, so before we close, the senator will close
And,
it up. We got a serious matter with
Is that
justice
DJ?
and LRA.
About DJ, it's how are you doing the registration of the tuna vessel? Is it on a yearly basis or on a quarterly basis?
Yearly.
But do you realize that they migrate, they move from one place?
Definitely. Tuna fishing starts from October, November, and December. And so because of that, we give them the annual license fees. And our tuna in Liberia start to appear between October.
So they can go and come back?
Yeah.
Get there and
So
use
a lot of the vessels will go to other countries to fishing.
Well,
And
why
once
don't
it's
you
around
really-
October, November, December, they begin to come in. So they do maximum 3 months to fishing for tuna in the Liberian waters.
It's why I know because I know they migrate.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, DG,
Yes,
Director General, IT.
Acting.
Okay, we'll need a copy of the budget. You give it to us already?
The 2026 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll send it.
Okay, so we'll need a copy before we conclude. If you can get it to us tomorrow, that will be okay. We'll be here by 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
I know. He come in, we'll question him. We'll question him on that. So with that said, Sergeant, please get them on oath and then discharge him. Then we'll have justice to come closer. We're going to have a very crucial matter with them.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Senator.
So by tomorrow, 1 o'clock, we'll need a budget. Then we'll ask other questions before we leave.